Today on the Mid-Year Mitch YouTube channel, I'm going to show you what's underneath the body of a mid-year Corvette. And it looks a lot like that. So stay tuned.
We're at the movies, huh?
Yep, we're at the movies. So in the garage here we have two examples, one a coupe and one a convertible, and both cars have a birdcage. So if you're not familiar with a mid-year, I'll explain what a birdcage is, and conveniently I have one right here. So the birdcage is everything that's here in green, and this brace is just here to keep this from falling apart. This has some rust. But the birdcage essentially just holds your door hinges, holds your windshield in place. Just a little bit extra structure in the rocker panels, helps with the convertible body to help with flex, holds your door latches in the back, and stuff like your dome light switch goes on here, your VIN and trim tag go on here, your glove box mounts to it, your steering column mounts to it on the other side, and the pedal assembly, and a few other things mount onto it. So a Corvette, you know, is a fiberglass constructed car, but it's not all one piece. It's sectioned, which I talked about in another video if you don't know. But there's all kinds of seams under the paint in these cars from the factory. And then there's fiberglass pieces that go over top of all of this, which I'll show you. Which just go over top of everything. Everything's capped off real nice, and you can see the birdcage hiding in there. So the main purpose of the birdcage is just to give the body strength and to give the body something to mount to. So all the body panels are glued to this, and this gives you a solid structure to mount to the chassis. So it's actually a pretty good setup. It probably also stiffens the chassis up just a little bit. Maybe a coupe stiffens it up a little better than a convertible, but it just gives you a little more stability in there. So this is a 63 convertible, and I'm doing some work on it for a guy from New York. The frame is actually pretty solid. It has some surface rust. It was blasted and repainted in the 80s, so that probably helped this frame out a lot. It just has some issues in some of the common areas, so we're going to get this thing blasted. I'll have to look at the underside. But the primary area where these like to rust is back here in the kick-ups, but you can see it better on the driver's side. There's a couple holes right here, and it's a little soft on the underside, which I just pushed a piece up there. So this actually doesn't appear to be that bad. You can still read the serial number off of it. It looks like it may have been repaired back here at one point, so I don't know if it was hit and straightened out back here. This cross member actually may be a little wonky looking at it, but there's a couple cracks in here that somebody welded, so we'll have to take a look at this cross member. We'll do some measurements, but step one is put this thing on jack stands, get it leveled out, and see where we stand. He brought me some other chunks of stuff that need replacing, so I'll do a video on this later, but I repaired a lot of these pieces for my birdcage for my road race car, and I replaced a lot of this metal in these. So his actually may be better off saving these and putting a new one on, because the reproduction piece doesn't come with all these other supports in it, so it may be easier to fix that one. But both rocker channels probably need replaced. Both inner pieces of the windshield need replaced, so those are very common areas for them to rust out. These corners, even out here, and the rockers get real soft. And then since the rockers get soft, it goes into the hinge pillars, which that one needs some repair work. But like I said, I've already done this once, so I feel pretty confident with that. This guy here is pretty flimsy. This wood's just kind of holding it on here just to keep it from getting worse. I got to take a bunch of measurements. I have two good reference cars here, so I'll get good measurements. And if anybody's interested, I'll probably make maybe a sheet to talk about, or a dimension sheet to have all the angles that I used to put this one back together in different dimensions. So if somebody wants to piece a cage back together or build one from scratch, hopefully with my measurements that can kind of help. I'm going to make templates off of this to put my cage together. This shouldn't be that bad of a project. He stripped all the fiberglass off of it. This used to be a full car, so he's got a lot of work ahead of him to put it back together, but we're going to give him a solid foundation and keep his project moving. So I'm very excited for this project. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be that bad. Just going to take my time, take measurements, and make sure we do it right. I actually planned this build, it was a few months back, and then I bought the Biscayne. That pushed it back. All this virus crap pushed it back even more. So now we're finally getting to it, and conveniently I have Birdcage parts, so I'm going to use his frame and his Birdcage to help me make measurements to put my cage together to build my race car. So this is actually working out pretty well timing wise. So I'm excited. Hopefully this still only takes a couple weeks and we're able to get this thing in and out, get it back to him so he can start putting it back together. I think he'll have fun with it. So if you want to learn more about the project, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like I said, I can come out with some spec sheets and stuff for dimensions I use to put a cage back together. And I'll have a lot of videos coming out on rust repair on this cage and my cage and building. There'll be lots of Birdcage videos, don't worry. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. I got a lot of work to do, and I think we got to put these cars away because these are too shiny to be doing dirty work. So